Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Ms. Hakopian, will you lead us in the flag salute?
Yes, good evening. Please stand, face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hakopian. Legal counsel?
Yes, good evening, President Uribe. At this time, we'd like to make an announcement concerning public comment. For members of the public who may wish to provide public comment in real time during tonight's meeting, we direct you to the instructions under item number 8 on tonight's agenda. Please ensure to provide public comment at the designated time for public comment by dialing 323-887-7900, extension 2494, or by clicking the raise hand button on the Zoom application or dial *9 to raise your hands from a phone. If members of the public dial in telephonically and the line is busy or goes straight to voicemail, please hang up and try again. Public speakers may choose but need not identify themselves to the Board of Education. However, if any follow-up may be required, providing contact information is encouraged. Accordingly, members of the public should be prepared to identify themselves, provide contact information, and the agenda matter they wish to address. Further, the board may limit the overall time of public comment to no more than 30 minutes or limit the time per speaker to 1 minute for purposes of efficiency to ensure the district can carry on with its business as agendized. Again, for further directions and information, please refer to item number 8 on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Copado. Dr. Garland, are there any modifications to this evening's agenda?
Yes, Madam President. Items number 9B, 9C, 9A2, and 9A6 were revised. Copies have been provided to you and copies have been uploaded to the website for the public.
Thank you, Dr. Garland. I move to approve the agenda with the modifications as indicated by Dr. Garland. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez? Mr. Ramirez?
Madam President, he informed me he'd be a few minutes late.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Garland, and an aye for me as well.
And President Uribe, if I may,
Yes.
just for purposes of the record, I do know that Board Clerk Ramirez is not here yet, but can we officially take roll call for tonight's meeting, please?
Yes, thank you, legal counsel. Okay, at this time, I'd like to see who is present. Ms. Cabrera?
Present.
Ms. Magaña?
Present.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Present.
Mr. Ramirez is not here yet, and I am present as well. Thank you, legal counsel. At this time, I would like to call on Dr. Garland for students' board member reports.
Thank you, Madam President. My favorite part of the night, we get to hear from our student body presidents. So we're going to start with Sandy Membreno from Applied Technology. Let's see if she is here. I don't see her yet. So we'll move on and then hopefully she'll be joining us. We have Andrea Cisneros. I do see her here. She is filling in for Emily. She is the Vice President of Student Body at Bell Gardens High School. Welcome, Andrea. Andrea, can you hear us? Okay, we'll give her a couple minutes.
Yeah, I see she's unmuted, but we just can't hear her.
Andrea, you might want to try to log on maybe on your phone or a different device. Andrea, we're going to go ahead and move over to our representative from Montevallo High School, Lily, and we'll get back to you. Okay, Lily, I did see her on here. There she is. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President Uribe, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Scarvana, Executive Cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Lily Ijan, and I am the Associated Student Body President at Montevallo High School. The month of November was very calm and peaceful for Montevallo High School. We started off the month of November with hosting a club rush on November 3rd. This gave clubs the opportunity to promote and scout new members, and it was a huge success. It gave our students an opportunity to get familiar with the variety of clubs we have on campus and initially join, which was mainly the purpose of the club rush. On Tuesday, November 9th, we officially ended our senior medallion contest, which gave us an opportunity to vote on the senior medallion for the class of 2022. On Monday, November 15th, we hosted a fall blood drive that was run by the American Red Cross. We had an amazing turnout. It was very heartwarming to see our students participate in such an amazing cause. We had the privilege to invite the Kyoto Taiko Ensemble from UCLA. It was an honor to spread cultural awareness and give students a chance to experience their talent. I hope everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving had a wonderful time with their families. And thank you for this time and acknowledgement. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Are there any questions for me?
I have a question, Lily. Do you already know who the winner was for the senior medallion?
We do. I just cannot remember her name.
Whenever you get a chance, can you send over the design so that way we can check it out?
I will do that
Thank
tomorrow.
you so much for your report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to try again. I'm not sure, Andrea, if you were able to log in. And I don't see her here. So she may have disappeared. So hopefully she'll come back on. While we're waiting for her, I'm going to go ahead and read Sandy's from Applied Technology Center High School. Thank you, Martha, for sending that over. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Scarvana, and the Executive Cabinet. My name is Sandy Membreno, and I'm the Student Body President for the ASB of the Applied Technology Center. The month of November started off with welcoming our students with a large honor of the Day of the Dead, leaving it up until November 1st to November 5th. The Chef Pathway also wanted to show some gratitude to the students by giving away hot chocolate on November 3rd. At the beginning of this month, the ACE Pathway managed to build the mentioned ofrenda and furnished the student store. Throughout the month, the PALS Pathway have been focusing on forensics, blood splatter analysis, and fingerprinting for the class of 2022. The class of 2023 through 2024 have been working on murder mysteries and their podcast. The health pathway is currently focusing on their finals. The class of 2022 has been working on their college applications and are now refocusing on their capstone. The class of 2023 has been working with the White Memorial Residency. The class of 2024 just finished their work with LA Cata and MAD. The Chef Pathway also spent the short week of November 8th through November 10th selling food to the students during nutrition and lunch. On the 17th of November, our school hosted a club fun day to give our clubs on campus to promote themselves and also fundraise. 3 clubs sold food, 1 did a giveaway, and others promoted. The Chef Pathway also prepared the whole week before Thanksgiving break to make a Thanksgiving dinner for their students on November 18th. The Club TLC helped out with part of Compassion's Thanksgiving food distribution event on the 20th of November. The club, along with NAMI, have a joint Seas Candy fundraiser, which ends on the 6th of December. During Thanksgiving break, some ASB members and TLC members came in to decorate the campus with various holiday-themed decorations. Seniors have been finalizing college applications for UCs and Cal States this week. Students are applying to schools like UCLA, UC Irvine, CSU Fullerton, Los Angeles, and Long Beach, as well as private schools that include USC, Stanford, and Columbia. Day in the Life will occur virtually on the 2nd for the purposes of informing students and parents as to what it means to be an ATC student. Our pathway leads and supporting teams have been working hard to put together products to illustrate what an ATC student will experience at this pathway school. We have approximately 45% of the FAFSA CATA submissions and will focus our efforts in the month of December in assisting every senior to apply for financial aid. For the month of December, we're currently planning our winter fantasy hangout for the students to enjoy some fun with snow, games, and music on the 10th. The 6th to the 10th, we'll have our holiday themed spirit week, starting off with a holiday hat Monday, snow gear Tuesday, bring anything but a backpack Wednesday, pajama Thursday, and ugly sweater Friday. Our plans are under works to liven up our campus with competitions between pathways and classes, but they are all up for discussion. That is all for Applied Technology Center Student Board Report, and thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a look to see if Andrea's back on. It looks like she is. Andrea, can you hear us? And you are unmuted, or you're muted.
Good evening. Can you hear me? This is Mrs. Underwood.
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Mrs. Underwood. We can hear you.
Hello. She is frantic. She says that it keeps disconnecting her, and she's been trying for a while. She tried the recommendation of the phone. If you would like, I can step in and read her report.
We would love that. I see that she's trying to connect to audio. So we might need to get her a new hotspot. So please have her reach out to her principal or myself, and we can help her with that. That would be great, Mrs. Underwood. We really appreciate it.
Okay, here we go. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Mark Scavarna, and the Executive Cabinet. My name is Andrea Cisneros, and I am the Associated Student Body Vice President of Bell Gardens High School for the 2021-2022 academic school year. We are so very proud to acknowledge all of our fall athletes who represented cross country, football, boys water polo, and women's volleyball. Thank you for your commitment to be student athletes and put countless hours into your craft. We are currently in winter season, where our teams of wrestling, soccer, basketball, women's water polo are building their stamina for winning seasons. We hope that you have an opportunity to come and support our winter athletes. Congratulations to the Lancer Regiment, who represented MUSD and Bell Gardens at the California Band Championship Finals, where they brought home a 9th place finish out of 29 schools that represented high schools from Fresno County down to San Diego County. As always, Francisco Rico and support staff prepared an amazing show titled The Woodsman. Our band members and color guards spent many hours preparing, and it definitely showed. We are proud of them. The dance department showcased all levels of dancers at their fall-winter dance concert titled Dance the Night Away on November 19th. Mrs. McCaskill, dance teacher, packed the stadium with dance enthusiasts who were supporting friends, peers, and loved ones. We hosted our first ever movie night under the stars on November 10th, with 60 students enjoying a quiet evening, munching on movie treats and watching a family-friendly movie. Next, Bell Gardens is proud to proclaim that we collected 135 pints of blood and saved 405 lives during the American Red Cross Fall-Winter Life-Saving Blood Drive on November the 3rd. Thank you to ASB leadership for hosting this event and volunteering to make it a success. ASB continues to collaborate with peers in order to promote district sanctioned activities such as November's National Homeless Youth Awareness Month by wearing green on Fridays. BG Lancers were encouraged to do a kind act deed for a peer or family member on November 12th to recognize World Kindness Day. Next, students were encouraged to participate in the War on Hunger campaign from November 17th through the 19th during fourth period. All students were encouraged to donate canned goods. We are so lucky to have Lancers that thought of others during this past month of November. ASB continues to collaborate with band, color guard, drill team, cheer, and sports to deliver pep rallies that will increase student participation and interest in student activities. Our students are craving large events such as dances. However, we understand that safety comes first. We would love for the Board of Education and district to guide us in creating events that will promote student engagement in lieu of traditional events pre-pandemic. Guess what? Our senior Mighty Lancers participated in College Submission Day on November 17th as a means to proudly proclaim their journey to post-secondary education. This event was coordinated by our college counselor, Susana Larios, and team to encourage students to celebrate their A through G journeys at Bell Gardens High. Best of luck to all of our seniors as they wait for acceptance letters from colleges and universities. To all seniors, whatever path you decide to follow, know that we are proud of you and we wish you well. At our site, we welcome a much needed counselor, Mr. Paredes, who will oversee 9th through 11th graders, letters S through Z. Hope Bell Gardens becomes your forever home. Thank you so much for encouraging school activities to thrive on our campus. The Bell Gardens High School community appreciates the attentiveness given by our board members and district personnel. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Underwood, for being here for your student. We so appreciate it. It's great to hear your voice. And I think Andrea was able to connect. So I'm not sure, Andrea, if you can unmute and would like to say hi really quickly or not. I wanted to check one more time.
Hi.
Hi, it worked.
Sorry.
Yay.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get you a new hotspot.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
Yeah, I
she
was
is.
trying to figure it out, but I couldn't. But I got to connect through my phone and it worked.
Okay, you let me know if you need a new hotspot. We have several, so I will give
Okay.
you one. Okay, great to
Thank
see
you.
you. Thanks for being here.
Have a good evening,
You
Andrea.
too. Thank you.
Okay, now we have Vail High School. Aranza, I believe Aranza is here. She is our new representative, so welcome.
Well, actually, Ms. Delgado will not be able to attend today's meeting due to personal issues, but my name's Lisa, so yeah. Okay. Good evening, Madam President Uribe, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Skravarna, and the Executive Cabinet. My name is Lisa Obeso, and I am the Student Body President for Vail High School. The last week before our Thanksgiving break, we had a Spirit Week from the 15th to the 19th of November. Our Spirit Week themes were the following. Monday was Mimi's Monday, and students and faculty brought their pajamas. Tuesday was Anything But a Backpack Day, where students, instead of bringing their backpacks, they got creative and brought a bucket, TV box, and etc. Wednesday was Western Wednesday. Tuesday was Throwback Thursday, where you dress from any time period from the 1900s. Lastly, Friday was Fraternity and Sorority Day. Students dressed up like college students. We had lunch activities following social distance and COVID protocols, such as whipped cream eating contest, flying chicken toss, and a turkey drawing contest. It was a very joyful experience seeing all the students and faculty coming together. We also had our canned food drive, which was very successful. It's always important to help our community, especially during times like these. As of right now, we are currently working on our Spirit Week for December and our Christmas scrams before we go on winter break. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving and thank you for your time. Have an amazing Christmas and Happy New Year. Are there any questions?
Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. Are there any questions from the board? No questions. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa, for
you.
being here for Aranza. We appreciate it. And then we have Shore High School, Samantha.
Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Scavarna, and the Executive Cabinet. My name is Samantha Hernandez, and I'm the Student Body Representative from Shore High School. I'd like to apologize in advance for not having my camera on. I just got out of soccer practice, and I'm all sweaty, so sorry. Today I will be discussing the latest updates regarding the status of Shore High School from the month of November and for the upcoming month of December. The week of November 15th, we had a War on Hunger food drive, otherwise known as canned food drive. In order to increase participation, ASB created a competition for the second period classes to collect the most cans, and whoever donated the most won a pizza party. On November 17th, Avid had a dodgeball tournament, basically. During this event, Avid students represented their class in dodgeball games, where seniors won against sophomores, juniors won against freshmen. The Avid Walkathon took place on November 19th. This was a fundraiser at Sure, which is meant to fundraise money for senior scholarships. Avid members competed against their tutors to see how many laps they could do around the track, and each lap was $1 donated toward the Avid program. At the end of there were games and food for all those who participated. Seniors prepared for UC and Cal State applications, which were due on November 30th. And I can tell you, as a senior myself, it was very nerve-wracking to submit those applications. The National Honor Society will have online inductions sometime in the near future. Our ASB plans to go to government classes and encourage students to finish up their FAFSA applications. Senior portraits took place in the library throughout the month of November, and our second session of senior portraits are going on this week from the Legacy Studios company. There was a blood drive at the Arco Montebello yesterday on November 30th. Our school key club members volunteered to help out the American Red Cross. Girls soccer had a clothing drive on November 20th to fundraise money for their equipment and gear. They luckily got around 200 bags of clothing to fill their donation truck up. Girls cross country went to CIF on November 12th at Mount San Antonio College. Our varsity cheer and song teams had competitions on November 20th and qualified for nationals. Our Renaissance, which is like our leadership and rally club at our school, they started selling sweatshirts to fundraise for their academic rallies. They created S Awards, which varsity fall athletes were able to give teachers who impacted and inspired them throughout their 4 years. And at Sure. Our winter sports, such as boys and girls basketball, soccer, water polo, wrestling, and other sports, started their preseason. ASB plans to have a Spirit Week next week. For the week of December, our days include Holiday PJ Day, Ugly Christmas Sweater Day, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, where the students will dress up as an old person, as an elderly person, wear green and red, and Santa versus Elf. That's all I have on the status of Shore High School. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving break and a wonderful winter break. Are there any questions from the board members at this time?
Thank you so much, Samantha.
I have
Are there
a
any
question.
questions?
Yeah, Samantha, where did you apply to? What colleges?
I applied to 5 UCs and 3 Cal States.
Which ones?
I'm hoping for UCLA or UC San Diego.
Nice. Those are really great choices. Congrats on college submissions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. We'll be praying for you. And I believe that concludes our student board member reports, right, Dr. Garland?
Yes, that does, Madam President. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Samantha, for being here. Go get some water.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to move on to our Educator Effectiveness Block Grant, and I would like to call on Dr. Ewan.
Hi, good evening, board members, executive cabinet, and community members. Tonight, we are going to present the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant Plan. And let me just share my screen. All right, so the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant is a program providing funds to school districts to provide professional learning and to promote educator equity, quality, and effectiveness. And these are the conditions on receiving these funds. So on or before December 30th, 2021, the district needs to develop and adopt a plan showing how these funds will be spent. The plan must be explained in a public meeting of the governing board of the school district, which is today, before its adoption in a subsequent public meeting, which is our next board meeting on the 15th. And in addition to this, as the years go on, we do have to submit reports to the California Department of Education about specific purchases, number of teachers participating, administrators, paraprofessionals, and classified staff participating on or before September 30th of each year, and then a final report in 2026. So here are some examples of allowable expenditures. There are 10 allowable expenditures. One of them is on coaching and mentoring staff. The second one has to do with improving literacy across all subject areas. The third one has to do with strategies that re-engage pupils. The fourth one has to do with social emotional learning. The fifth allowable expenditure is on creating positive school climate. The sixth is improving inclusive practices. The seventh is supporting language acquisition for our English learners. The eighth is new professional learning networks. The ninth is ethnic studies for grades 7 through 12. And then the 10th is for early childhood education. So these are the 10 allowable areas that we can use these funds to help support our certificated, administrative, and classified staff. So these expenditures can take place over 5 years, starting with this year, 21-22, all the way to the final year, 2025 to 2026. Again, these funds can be used to provide professional learning for teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals who work with students, classified staff that interact with students in order to promote educator equity, quality, and effectiveness. Montebello USD will be receiving a little bit over $7 million. And again, this is for 5 years. So the California Department of Education is not providing a template for this plan, and each district needs to develop their own. So we have developed, we are using a template that was developed by one of our vendors who we use for our LCAP and school site council plans. And this plan is an approved template. So one of the things, although not required for this plan, we did seek input from various stakeholders. On October 28th, we did present this grant to our district professional learning committee. On November 5, a survey was sent out to all staff seeking input on the priority areas for professional learning. On November 15, we held an input session with site and district administrators, teachers on special assignment, classified staff, and Head Start. And then on November 18, we had a follow-up input session with our district professional learning committee. And based on the feedback that was received from the survey and from the input sessions, we use that information to develop the plan. So here's a summary of expenditures. So for focus area 1, we are allocating funds for professional learning for our mentor teachers, for new and beginning teachers, for coaching, and also for new administrator induction. For focus area 2, we are providing professional learning for instructional aides, certificated personnel, and collaboration on academic language and literacy across all subject areas. For focus area 3, we're planning to provide professional learning on integrating technology and teacher coaching. For focus area 4, professional learning on trauma-informed practices and also using arts education as therapy. Focus area 5, positive interventions and supports training and coaching, and professional learning for campus security officers, instructional aides, and playground support staff. Focus area 6, it will be on universal design for learning and collaboration between special education and general education teachers. Focus area 7, professional learning on English learners shadowing for campus security officers, and then strategies for students who are new to the country or for students who are long-term English learners, and teacher coaching. For focus area 8, teacher learning collaborative meetings for content area teachers. Focus area 9, professional learning on ethnic studies for grades 7 through 12. And then the last one, focus area 10, professional learning for transitional kindergarten teachers and early childhood educators on preschool to 3rd grade early learning continuum. So the next step is on December 15, at the next Board of Education meeting, we will be seeking approval of this Educator Effectiveness Block Grant. So that concludes the presentation and an explanation and summary of the plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Thank you, Dr. Ewan. I have a question, and I'm trying to think of it, but for some reason it's slipping my mind. Oh, yes. I'm just wondering how many stakeholders responded, just kind of roughly, as far as like the surveys, and I know you had like forums, just wondering how many participated.
Yeah, the survey we sent out, unfortunately, not a whole lot of people responded. It was maybe about 150. As for the District Professional Learning Committee, there's 9 of us. And then as for the input session, there was about 20 to 25 people there.
Okay, and then I was also wondering if we can somehow upload this presentation on our website and have it translated as well.
Of course.
Thank you. And I believe Vice President has a question.
Yes, Dr. Yuan, question. So for each area, focus area, there's money allocations. Do you have like a detailed plan of how we would allocate that money? So like for the different focus areas, like is there like programming? Is there like activities? Is there like more into depth?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. There is a plan for this. Let me pull it up. So this is the actual plan document. And this is the cover page with the total amount received and the dates of the public meeting and then the date for the adoption. So here is priority area 1, and it breaks down all of the different planned activities and the budgeted amount for each of those years. One of the recommendations from the team is for this year, since we do have federal COVID funds, we want to use those first because those expire, and therefore we can utilize some of these funds for the following 4 years. So this one is for priority area 1. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, there's professional learning for mentor teachers on coaching. There's additional hours for teachers, release time to observe, teacher on special assignments to coach, additional professional learning for beginning teachers. And then we also have some support for new administrator induction. And then this one is priority area 2. And we explain about supporting our instructional aid so they can support students' language development. We also talk about providing training for certificated personnel and then additional hours for collaboration time. And then priority area number 3, training for our instructional aid, training for our certificated personnel, and additional hours for collaboration. Next one is on integrating technology and coaching. Number 4, on professional learning on trauma-informed practices for certificated, classified, and administrative personnel, and then arts education as therapeutic strategies to address social emotional learning. The fifth one is positive behavioral interventions and supports for all stakeholders. And then coaching, particularly for our classified instructional staff and campus support. And then 6, we do have universal design for learning and differentiation of instruction. And just some collaboration time for special education and general education teachers. And 7, we have our English learner shadowing for our campus security officers, strategies. We also have some professional learning for the dual immersion, both Spanish and Mandarin. And then again, a teacher on special assignment to help coach. For 8, we do have meetings for our teacher learning collaborative meetings. 9, we're focusing on ethnic studies for grades 7 through 12 to develop lessons. And then the last one supports the transitional kindergarten and also early childhood educators from preschool through grade 3. And then this is the summary of expenditures. Yes, so this is the detailed plan.
Got it. Thank you, Dr. Yuen.
Sure.
Ms. Cabrera has a question.
Thank you, Board President. So I see here how we plan to spend the money, but is there already documentation of the impact that we're looking to see, like some sort of metrics or how we're going to measure how these supports and where we're putting the money is impacting our students? I know that it's a lot. I know that there are a lot of subsections, but is my assumption correct in saying that we will be able, for example, on a year-by-year basis, be able to look back, we spent money on these things and this is the impact that we were able to see. Is there anything that we need to modify for the following year?
Yes, that's a great question. Just so that everyone knows, when the board does approve this, that doesn't mean that we can't revisit this plan and make any changes. We can always come back to this plan and make changes based on the data and based on the results. In terms of monitoring how effectively we are using these funds, a lot of this is tied to our LCAP metrics. So, for instance, English learners, we do have dashboard and LCAP metrics that we have to report annually. Same thing with social emotional. There are dashboard indicators that we are held accountable to. So what we do use are our state accountability measures to make sure that we are hitting the target and making enough progress for our students here. So we're not gonna, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's nothing extra that we need to go above and beyond in terms of creating new assessments or providing new evidence. We already are using existing evidence that we have to submit to the state already.
Thank you.
Dr. Yuen, I have a question. So I don't recall what number it was, but the one that focuses on mental health, was that 4 or?
That was 4 for the social emotional?
Yes. So I'm just wondering, what SB 224 that recently passed that allows school districts to support or incorporate mental health courses into actually curriculum, is that something that we can also explore to see how we can develop a course within this field using this bill and now this money to kind of just incorporate it, right, to destigmatize this whole issue of mental health, right? And now we have an actual course that's allowing students to learn and become informed and educated on mental health issues?
Yes, definitely. That is an allowable expense. And then just so that the board and the public knows, we have a program called Panorama, and we are having teachers teach the lessons that address social emotional health at least once a week for 15 minutes. So there are lessons and a toolbox or a playbook that is included that all teachers have access to. But definitely we can use these funds to expand that and support that.
Great. And then also, I would love to see, just also expanding ethnic studies. I know we've had numerous conversations, but just, you can't disagree with the research when it's, just talking about the impact and the social and academic value of students of color having culturally relevant curriculum. So, I would definitely love to invest more in that, especially with the relevance of ethnic studies right now, being mandatory courses in higher education institutions, and just allowing students, especially our community, which is predominantly students of color, to have curriculum that's relevant to them and their communities and their histories. So I would love to just possibly see how we can expand that a bit more as well.
Sure.
Thank you, Dr. Ewan. Are there any further questions or comments? Well, thank you, Dr. Ewan. We appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, and Dr. Ewan, actually, I'm going to call on you again. Do we have any school service organization reports?
Yes, I'm looking on this screen and I believe I see Miss Amanda Franco for HAC. Or maybe I don't. I saw that name earlier. If not, then I don't have any school services report.
Thank you, Dr. Ewan. Do we have any employee organization reports?
Yes, so I'm just going to go down the list. So first is CSCA Ms. Marisol Rivera.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Madam President Marisol Madrigal Oribe and board members and Dr. Scarvana and executive cabinet and community members and brothers and sisters. I have some exciting news to share with you. State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, has appointed Mr. Leonard Narumi to our Personnel Commission. He will be a strong asset to the Montebello PC, a community member and a colleague of Montebello. Congratulations, Mr. Narumi. We're excited. On the other hand, our classified human resource specialists in the certificate side have been dealing with a lot of pending PRFs, multiple items, and their daily duties. As you can imagine, the magnitude of processing documents per teacher is tremendously ridiculous. I understand that additional assignments, workshops, committee meetings, etc., are getting excessive. And it's just not only one PRF for a teacher, it's multiple. And we need to start looking at proper structure and guidance. We don't have the proper leadership in place. It's just getting out of hand. Teachers need to be more respectful to our clerical, to our members, when they are calling about payments or their paperwork. We tend to forget the human element when we should respect one another. As MUSD got audited, a lot of steps have been implemented in order to process a single PRF. But we continue to have the same issue. People are not getting paid. Let's get to the solution. We need to hire more classified employees. Not the least since our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource has moved to bring in a consultant in the area of human resource, while we have all these items pending. What are we going to do in order to resolve the unpaid list? We forget the steps of a PRF, the beginning and the end. Yes, there are a lot of steps to just process a PRF, so many signatures, and it delays the process. It just doesn't go straight to payroll. We need to think about that. Our cafeteria workers need to be provided more hours as the amount of food still has not decreased. We have employees that are 3 hours and need to be placed in 5 to 6 hours. The work has increased and not decreased. As I continue to hear we have COVID money, let's provide the support to our cafeteria workers that are 3 hours. Clerical at all levels have been experiencing tremendous workload due to the lack of vacancies that have not been filled and need to be filled. We need to provide that support to all the sites. Classified employees are getting very overwhelmed in that area and are ready to make a stand if leadership does not take action in supporting the employees. It's not proper to demand and expect. Our classified employees are not robots. They are human beings. We need leadership that can act as leaders and support the labor force. Madam President, we continue to see labor work being distributed to contracts. We demand that work stays in-house. We have our maintenance and operation department that has our employees ready to fulfill those necessary jobs. We continue to hear the need for custodial. Hopefully soon we'll be hiring more custodian as the PC has approved an eligibility list at yesterday's meeting. In respect to the end of this month for our custodial that is providing support to all our schools, their PRS will be ending as on December 17 for that additional support. So let's think about that and let's make sure we can continue that support to all the sites. CACA has sent a letter out to Dr. Scarvana requesting a confirmation of commitment to participate in the classified school employee summer assistant program under Education Code 4,500 and Education Code 45,500 for 22-23. At the same time, I do want to say thank you for the ongoing commitment and support of our classified employees by participating in this program. Summer months are when many classified employees find themselves struggling financially because they are either underemployed and ineligible for unemployment insurance benefits. These programs' benefit have been especially critical during recent times of fiscal uncertainty, when many households have lost work and income due to the pandemic. The relief you have helped to provide your commitment cannot be emphasized enough. There is a deadline on January 1st, 2022 to inform employees if the district would take part in it. But I do want to say we have been participating and I am grateful for that, and all the classified employees are grateful for that. On another note, we have a negotiations meeting scheduled on December 9, 2021, and I'm asking the board to give direction in order for CSA to close our negotiations 2020-2021. Keep in mind that the district received a COLA in 2020-21, and our members are looking forward to a positive outcome. I would like to thank our treasurer, Mr. John Nieto, for providing the service to our students and staff and union brothers and sisters. He has been employed here for 38 years, and he has decided to retire at the end of the month. Enjoy your retirement, sir. Congratulations also to all our classified employees that have retired throughout the beginning of the school year. Board members, enjoy your holidays with loved ones. Have a great happy new year, and I will see you in 2022. I leave you with this note. Life is like an ocean. It can be calm or still and rough or rigid, but at the end, it is always beautiful. Be blessed. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have MUSD POA Corporal Tony Navarez said he could not make it, so there's no comment, no report. Next, we have AMSA. Miss Benedetta Kennedy will be representing AMSA.
Thank you, Dr. Yuen. Good evening, Board President Madrigal Uribe, board members, Dr. Scarvana, Executive Cabinet, and the MUSD family. My name is Benedetta Kennedy, and I am representing AMSA as a member of the AMSA Executive Board, as I am the Adult Education Representative. AMSA President Dr. Gallardo sends his regards and well wishes to each one of you. Today, I would like to share that AMSA had its first general meeting social for the 21-22 year on October 13th. We'll be holding another event in the next few weeks, and we will send invitations to the Board of Education and Executive Cabinet. We hope that you may join us on that day. On behalf of AMSA, we want to extend the best wishes and blessings to the Board of Education, Executive Cabinet, the classified and certificated personnel, as well as all the students and parents of our MUSC family during the holiday season. Thank you and have a pleasant evening. Are there any questions for me?
No questions. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Kennedy.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, and then we have MTA, Mr. David Navarre.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to start by thanking the board, Superintendent Scarvana, and district personnel, especially our classified colleagues, for working on ensuring that our members are paid. We understand that it was a momentous task. It is my understanding this is occurring and want to acknowledge and thank you all for this. I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday week with their loved ones. As the calendar year comes to an end and I reflect, it occurs to me that our challenges and successes are knotted together. It is people who are going above and beyond to ensure that our students are cared for, educated, and thriving during these difficult times. Whether it is, just to name a few, the teacher, the nurse, the secretary, or the principal, people are moving us forward. It is common to read in the paper about how exhausted educators are right now. And my colleague, Ms. Rivera, just mentioned the very same thing. And yet we continue to do the best that we can because we know that our students rely on us for their education, their social, emotional well-being, and in some cases, for support with their very basic needs. To do these things, we need to ensure that our people are well when more is being asked of them than ever before. We all know too well how difficult it is to fill positions and the shortages of staff that districts throughout the country and the county are facing. We must make every effort to make sure that the people we have here today are given the safest environment possible to do their jobs effectively because our students need us. Let us seize the moment and make a long-term commitment to lower class size. I ask that you show your appreciation to our teachers, our nurses, our psychologists, our speech and language therapists, specialists, by giving them a much-deserved raise. These heroes are the best and the brightest, and we need to retain them because our students need stability now more than ever. We need to be competitive and attract the best and the brightest. The Montebello Teachers Association and the district bargaining teams will meet tomorrow to continue negotiations. I am hopeful that the district team has the authority to offer proposals that are worthy and honor the work, the hard work of our members. Thank you for your time.
All right, and that concludes our employee group reports.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to move on to legal comments. Mr. Bill McGuire.
Go. Sorry about that. I want to say that we had a great meeting with Dr. Garland relative to some work that hopefully she's going to do in the future to help be more efficient and effective. And I'm looking forward in the next 2 weeks with meeting with Don and Craig relative to an in-depth review of the first interim report. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. At this time, we're going to move on to public comment. Ms. Copado, do we have any written public comments?
Yes, President Uribe, we have one written public comment. Good evening. While I appreciate that the district extended the deadline for changing grades to pass, no pass after the state required the extension, the fact that it was done optionally shows that the district is either not understanding or fully honoring the spirit of AB 104. In addition to providing students an option to change their grades, AB 104 also requires that the district provide opportunities for students to meet the graduation requirements and to reduce the graduation requirements to the state requirements if a student is not on track to graduate. Credit accrual has not been approved for the first semester at several of the high schools, which is not only impacting our current seniors who fall under AB 104, but will also have a trickle-down effect because underclassmen also have not been provided an opportunity to make up their required classes. Additionally, many current seniors have not been informed if they are on the 130 credit track for graduation or the 220 credit track, and those that have been informed are not provided consistent messaging on their needed requirements. When I asked for information about the graduation requirements in writing, I was told that the district is still working on the language before providing the information to parents and students. The staff does not have a list letting us know which students are on which track. AB 104 was approved in July. Our district has had more than enough time to figure this out and could easily look at a number of neighboring districts' web pages for clarification if they are having difficulty. The district is not serving our students, and our seniors only have one semester left. Another concern is the ALL classes. While they may look good in social media posts, I don't believe there is an understanding of what these look like at the high school level. The ALL class is the student's regular English or math class that meets the A through G requirements and should follow the course description submitted to the UC portal. These are not intervention courses. The only difference is these students are segregated from their peers into smaller classes sizes. Once again, there is no standard protocol for who is selected for these classes other than they struggled during COVID, usually meaning they had multiple Fs. There was little to no consideration as to why the students struggled during COVID. These courses are impacting the class sizes of other classes and create an impacted master schedule that does not allow movement to meet students' needs. Research shows that students should not be segregated in the regular courses and should be with their grade level performing peers. Some of these students are English learners, and segregating them is especially detrimental to their language development. There is no path to exit these courses. The district needs to do better and stop coming up with one-size-fits-all K-12 programs and initiatives created without high school input that do not meet the needs of high school students. Thank you for your time. Amy Cesarensky, Shore High School. Dr. Ewan, do we have any additional public comment, either pre-registered or for real time?
Yes, we have one pre-registered, so I'm going to give Marina Martinez-Smith a phone call, and she is calling about remiss pay and reimbursement. So give me a moment while I reach her. All right, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Uribe, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Scavarna, and members of the Executive Cabinet, and Dr. Yuan. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday and that you and those you love are in good health. Even though more teachers are finally being compensated for their professional development, paid adjunct duties, substituting, tutoring, instructional supplies, testing, and 1-6, there are still more teachers who are still awaiting compensation for similar services already rendered. These teachers have been waiting for 6 months to a year to be paid. When will the district establish a protocol to pay teachers in a timely and consistent manner? I have mentioned before that when I first started working for Montebello, if you submitted a time card in the month of service by the 25th, you were compensated by the 5th of the following month. What happened to the standard? It feels as though employees of this district are not valued. It is discouraging that certificated administration and management will be attending the Celebrating Educators Spring CUE conference in 2022 in Palm Springs, and that district administration have been compensated with the hero bonus that was paid to them in 2 weeks. Where is the equity for teachers and staff? We all deserve to be compensated in a timely and consistent manner, in the same manner that the administration of the district is. SURE has still not heard anything about being reimbursed for expensive items that were disposed of, stolen, or ruined by rat urine or corpses during the fumigation and sanitation of SURE. Items disposed of were not only microwaves and refrigerators, desk chairs, furniture, fundraiser clothing for our programs, equipment for the drama program, yearbook and newspaper equipment, but also our special ed program, our music program, our cinematography course, our athletic programs, and USB. When are the promises made to appease our faculty going to be fulfilled, or were they just words? What happened to renovating and painting the school, fixing our fields, renovating the rundown bathrooms throughout the campus? Students complain and deserve better. When will things improve? Sure is still in need of the mental health support, custodians, CSOs. Recently, a new teacher told me that a group of 10 boys was truant behind C building outside her room, and she felt helpless. In my all class, a student who was truant from class ran into my room to tell me of a possible suicide. She then ran off. I looked for security and they were detained elsewhere. I had to run in my room and call an assistant principal, who thankfully answered. Same day, I caught a student tagging and had the same problem. What more proof do you need? Things need to improve. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration. Good evening.
All right, and that concludes the pre-registered phone calls. And right now we'll take a look at our audience for any hand raises, and also we'll take any calls, live calls into the phone line. Mr. Chen, I do see a hand raised for Irma Avalos.
Hi, good evening. Actually, my name's Irma Avalos, and I'm here representing the Head Start program, and I was going to do an update, but I was waiting to be called on, but I may have been skipped.
Board President, is it okay that she gives her update?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ms. Avalos.
No, thank you. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Mark Skvarna, Executive Cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Irma Avalos, and I would like to introduce myself and inform the board that I am the newly elected Head Start Policy Council President. And I'm happy to provide you the following updates that were recently approved at our Policy Council meetings. For October 2021, the 2021 to 2022 Policy Council was officially seated. The Executive Cabinet was elected. The results are as follows. At the time, the president elected was Patrice Johnson. For Vice President, Monique Santoyo. Secretary, Shannon Garcia, and Sergeant at Arms, Guadalupe Mendez. Members were also elected to be part of the Finance, Bylaws, Program, and Personnel Committees. Other program updates covered in our Policy Council meetings include the approval of the hiring of a Head Start family specialist. One of our PC parents was part of that interview panel. Also approved the budget revision and approved the submittal of the early Head Start refunding application. We also reviewed the June program summary for Head Start and the August program summaries, fiscal expenditures for Head Start and early Head Start. And finally, the school readiness goals. For November 2021, we elected a new PC president, yours truly, Irma Avalos. We also reviewed the September program summaries for Head Start and early Head Start and the DRDP measures. We updated the current, provided an update on the current enrollment and approved the hiring of a Head Start family specialist. One of our PC parents was also part of the interview panel for that. As the candidate approved in October declined the offer. Also approved the hiring of the Head Start of 3 Head Start instructional assistants and approved the hiring of 4 early Head Start teachers. One of our PC parents was part of the interview panel. And we also had a guest speaker from the East Los Angeles Women's Center. Our next regular PC meeting is scheduled for December 16, 2021. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you and have a wonderful evening.
All right, I don't see any other hands raised in the audience. Oh.
I'm sorry. Board President, would it be possible to ask Ms. Avalos a question as if she was doing a presentation, or is it public comment, or I'm not sure?
Yes, I believe, and Ms. Copado, correct me if I'm wrong, that was part of what would have been her report, so it's not technically part of public comment, is that correct?
Correct. And we do have an ability to change the organization of the agenda meeting. And so if we skipped her over, it really wasn't part of public comment, but as part of presentation. So please go ahead and exchange any comments to her or
Oh,
questions.
okay. Thank you so much. Ms. Avalos, I have a question for you. You specified you just hired a Head Start family specialist, and I want to inquire as to what kind of resources do they provide? What does their job entail?
So that's I appreciate the question. I don't have all the details of that, but I can certainly take that back and see that that information comes back to you, if that's okay.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna move on to our discussion and action items. We're going to consider item 9A, resolution number 13, 2021-2022, authorizing electronic meetings of the Governing Board of Education during a state of emergency pursuant Government Code Section 54953, and I would like to call on legal counsel.
Thank you, President Uribe, members of the board, Dr. Scavarna, and Executive Cabinet. The resolution before the board tonight for consideration is a reaffirmation resolution to make the necessary determinations and findings to invoke AB 361 to allow the governing board to continue to meet electronically for the next 30 days. Accordingly, it is our recommendation to make the following motion by approval and ratification, unless the board has any questions of me. But the following is the proposed motion: that the Board of Education approves resolution number 13, 2021 through 2022, authorizing electronic meetings of the governing Board of Education during a state of emergency pursuant to Government Code Section 54953, subsection E. The resolution would make the determination necessary to invoke AB 361 and would allow the governing board to meet electronically for the next 30 days. In order to continue to meet electronically beyond that time, the board would need to reaffirm that the emergency continues to directly impact the ability of members to meet safely in person. And that concludes my report. Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Copado. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Motion. Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera,
Aye.
Ms. Magaña,
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez,
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez.
Aye.
And an aye from me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to consider item 9B, approval of first interim budget for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. And I would like to call on Mr. Ellingson.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, members of the board, executive cabinet, our superintendent, our community, and our coworkers. Tonight, we're here to present our first interim report for year 2021-2022. Jonathan, are you going to be able to share your screen?
Give me a second, please. My apologies. I'm having a little technical difficulty right now.
Don't worry, Mr. Chen.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, everyone. Trying to.
Oh, don't worry. Thank you.
So sorry. Okay, so tonight we're here to present our first interim report for year 2021-2022. The cycle of financial reports by education code brings us to our first interim, which includes actuals to date through October 31st, and it must be approved by the governing board on or before December the 15th. The governing board can certify one of three certifications: a positive, a qualified, or a negative. Tonight, the governing board will certify a positive certification that indicates that the district will meet its financial obligations for the current fiscal year and subsequent 2 fiscal years. One of the challenges in our district and in much of California is decline enrollment. And here you can see a projection over time, and we continue to cope with decline enrollment in our district, and it remains at greater than 4%. Here you'll see our multi-year projections of the combined general fund. You'll note that our expenditures exceed our revenue in a structural deficit pattern year over year. It decreases our fund balance. And this is primarily due to contributions from our general fund to support other programs in the district. However, you will see that we do meet our reserve for economic uncertainties as required in every year, and that we maintain a healthy fund balance out through the 3rd year, which would be our second subsequent fiscal year. Events not included in our first interim report and some recommendations. So some information that we're pending that it will be subsequent to our first interim includes our period 1 attendance. That's usually available at the beginning of January, so January 2022, as well as the governor's budget proposal for 22-23, and that's available usually the middle of January. Some of the recommendations for coping with decline enrollment, which equates to loss of revenue for us here at our district, is to continue to evaluate our program needs that we have within the district and how those can be improved, and both economically and in offerings in general, as well as review our planned expenditures to see what is absolutely necessary and identify any areas of potential cost reduction through these practices. Some good things happening in our district include our accelerated learning labs, independent study, new furniture in our classrooms, new HVAC, swimming pools, repair and new, roofing, carpet removal, bottled water, and COVID testing. Here is a small look at our accelerated learning labs, which are at 28 schools, include roughly 103 teachers and 1,300 students. And you'll see here a couple of our fantastic coworkers working with our amazing students, and everything seems to be going well. Here you'll see our HVAC. We've been replacing HVAC in the district. We're excited that the DSA, Division of State Architect, has moved our project through. So we're working on this currently, and we're going to continue working over the winter break. You'll also see here new furniture that's being installed into our classrooms, as well as the flooring where the carpet has been replaced. Here, you'll see some of the bottled water offerings, as well as the COVID testing process that our district is doing. Are there any questions from the board?
Thank you, Mr. Ellenson. Are there any questions? Ms. Magaña.
Thank you, Board President. Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Ellingson. I know you've worked really hard, and I do have a question. I don't know if it necessarily pertains to you or maybe it does to Dr. Ewan, but when you stated that our general fund, part of the reason why we're constantly declining, not only because of our enrollment, but because we contribute to other programs. Is there any way, I see some of the programs, is that the entire list of programs that we are investing in?
Oh, no, no, Board Member Magana, we have several programs in our district. You know, some of the offerings, I imagine, produce different results. So that is something that, you know, we need to look at, you know, on a cabinet level with all the team there and evaluate where we can, you know, improve our offering and at a more affordable price point.
And that's definitely something that I would like to look into further. If we can have some type of report, some kind of data where it shows the efficiency of the programs and how our investment is working. I'd like to further discuss that and just look into it. If we can get that data, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Board Member Magana. We will schedule something.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I believe our superintendent may have want to say something.
Absolutely. Thank you. Can you folks hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I would relay to Board Member Magana that probably one of the bigger contributors to some of this excessive spending in a fund balance would be special ed. That's something that's incredibly difficult to regulate because of the cost and the need of individually. So we'll bring all that to you and show that to you. That's not an issue at all. Matter of fact, I've got it painted on the that I know those figures and know those issues. There's a couple of things. Districts, Southern California especially, well, I would say statewide, unless you're in areas that are extreme growth, are dealing with the declining enrollment. I hope that the state considers some additional issues in the next few years on how they can help us again with that, because it hurts us all. But bigger than that, we're in a very, very, very competitive market. So you can't survive as a school district by saying to people, well, we want you to come here, we want you to keep working, we want you to keep doing this, whether it's classified or certificated, without looking at our salaries and everything else. So you've got to balance all this, and this district hasn't had an on-schedule salary raise for quite a few years for our employees. So we need to balance that here in the future, and that needs to be a priority also, on top of, you know, declining enrollment and a few other things. So could be somewhat of a difficult balance, but it's very important to make sure that we're competitive in our teacher salaries, our classified salaries, and that people, especially I heard the comments about the food services, we need to look at that also. So this represents a very positive budget for this district with a sizable reserve that exceeds any requirements from the county office. So I don't know, I remember when I first came here, how dire the budget was. It's not in that condition anymore. That's a real pat on the back to you folks as far as your aggressiveness in this arena. And just keep in mind that that's going to be incredibly important in the next few years and this year to be looking at compensation issues and everything else. And we'll try to balance that to make sure that our employees feel valued, and they're certainly taken care of also. But there's been a lot of work that's gone into this, and I would like to really thank all of the folks in the Business Services Department. I could think of Craig, Don. I've spent an awful lot of time with them going over this, driving Craig probably nuts because I have a tendency to ask a lot of questions. But I think that this represents one of the best budgets that this district's put together in quite a few years. And Don understated it, but a lot of the positive things that are going on at the school sites with the facilities issues, HVAC, and that's an abbreviation. A lot of times people don't understand heating and air conditioning, basically. The water, people say, why are you giving young folks bottled water? Because we're not convinced, and we want to make sure that we start replacing piping and what have you before we get away from getting the bottled water. We want the students to have the best of everything. So that's what the district is trying to do with your support. And I want to thank Don and thank that entire staff. I want to thank the personnel folks. I want to thank everybody who's worked and hustled hard to take care of these payroll issues. We're going to get on top of it, and we're going to put in some policies and some procedures where things work a little bit more effectively and a little bit smoother. So I thank you for the comments.
Ms. Gutierrez, I believe, has a question.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Not a question, but a comment. Just want to echo Dr. Scovarna's comments. And just to the whole business services team, thank you so much for working hard and bringing in a positive financial report.
Thank you all. Yes, we have a fantastic team. We have a fantastic district. Very proud of this place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, I move to approve item 9B. May I have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Ramirez. Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to consider item 9C, approval of budget adjustments for 2021-2022 school year. And I would like to call on Mr. Ellingson.
Thank you again, Madam President. This is part of the interim process. These budget adjustments help us true up the ledgers so that they reflect what we have in our first interim report. So this is a normal part of the process.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez?
No, that I did the motion. Oh, aye, sorry.
I think we've all had a long night.
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez?
I am so sorry.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. We're now going to move on to consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled for further discussion and or action? Okay, hearing none, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. The motion is carried. At this time, we're going to move on to board member reports, and I will begin with Ms. Cabrera.
Buenas noches, everyone. No report, just hoping that everyone's doing well, staying warm, especially in the mornings and in the evenings, and that everyone's being careful with that fog that we've been having these last couple of days. So buenas noches, everyone.
Ms. Magaña.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take the time to thank all of our oh my God, so sorry, I'm a little lost for words. All of our student representatives, just thank you so much. I really enjoy hearing your reports. I know that you all work really hard in putting them together, so it's always really lovely to hear your voices. Thank you to our unions, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and your concerns. And just know that our superintendent, our entire team is working really hard into resolving all of our issues. So other than that, thank you all so much for joining.
I apologize. I couldn't unmute myself. Ms. Gutierrez.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a couple of reports. I just hope everyone had a very restful and wonderful Thanksgiving. Just some exciting news. Congratulations to every student, every senior who submitted their college applications for CSUs, UCs, private, community college, trade schools. The CSUs and the UCs actually extended their deadline. So yesterday, while helping students apply for college, the CSU application crashed. Thankfully, there was an extension for some of those universities. So it's been very amazing helping students apply for college. Just supporting first generation students apply to college has been very, very amazing. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity. And thank you to all the school counselors and everyone who has been working endlessly to help those students submit their applications. And then just good news, we'll be having some HVAC installs over the winter break. Some schools are like Fremont, Shore High School, Macy's, and Montebello Gardens. And just a reminder that we'll be having winter break starting December 20th. And I hope everyone has a wonderful winter break.
Mr. Ramirez.
No report. Have a good evening, everybody.
Well, I just want to thank everyone who joined us this evening, and I just think of gratitude for just all of our team that we have in Montebello Unified, everyone who just helps our students. Ultimately, that's why we're here. And I just know that the dedication and the passion that everyone has is just beyond words as far as my appreciation for all of you. So just want to thank you. May the Lord just bless you with clarity, creativity, strength, encouragement, discernment, whatever it is that you're seeking. I just pray that the Lord will bless you with it. And that concludes my board member report. And with that, I move to adjourn to recess into closed session. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. We will now recess into closed session. Okay, it is now 8:12 and I would like to reconvene this meeting. I'd like to see who is present. Ms. Cabrera,
Present.
Ms. Magaña.
Present.
I don't see Ms. Gutierrez yet. Mr. Ramirez?
Present.
And I'm present as well. Legal counsel, can you please provide a closed session report out?
Yes, thank you, President Uribe. We convened into closed session at 7:29 p.m. this evening with closed session discussions commencing at 7:31 p.m. Present in closed session via video conference were Vice President Gutierrez, Board Clerk Ramirez, Board Member Cabrera, Board Member Magaña, President Uribe, General Counsel Copado, Dr. Scavarna, Dr. Ewan, Dr. Garland, Mr. Ellingson, Ms. Hakopian, and Mr. McGuire. At 7:32 p.m., members of the Executive Cabinet and Mr. McGuire exited closed session. As to item A1, legal counsel provided a briefing and an update to members of the board. No reportable final action was taken, nothing further to report. As to item A2, legal counsel provided a briefing and an update to members of the board. By a 5-0 vote, motion carried to approve the settlement agreement in the matter as listed in item A2. Nothing further to report on that matter. As to item A3, legal counsel provided a briefing and an update to members of the board. By a 5-0 vote, motion carried to approve the settlement agreement in the matter as listed in item A3 in closed session agenda. As nothing further to report on that matter. As to item B, that matter was not discussed and therefore is off the agenda. Closed session discussions concluded at 8:10 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank
Madam
you.
President, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Madam President, Vice President Gutierrez just messaged me stating that she's having technical difficulties and she can't connect.
I think I see somebody. Is she trying to connect? Oh, no, that was Mr. Ellingson. Okay. Ms. Magaña, do you know if she's going to try to log in? Or should we just continue?
I think we should probably just continue.
Okay, thank you. It is now 8:15. I would like to move to adjourn tonight's meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm not sure if that was Ms. Cabrera or Mr. Ramirez.
It was Ms. Cabrera.
Thank you. Roll call vote, Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
Ms. Gutierrez is not able to connect. Mr. Ramirez?
I am here. Aye.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
Madam President.
Right in time. Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Aye.